Pepper, Chapter 1, the Given It era.
Wait, so you're talking about the genesis of the band?
Yes, the genesis of the band.
We love Genesis.
Yeah, we do.
And which starts in 1997. And
Watch hitting the table, right?
which will lead, excuse me.
He's a drummer.
Which will lead us up to our first official album, Given It. But talk about the Genesis, Clow.
I love this. Okay, so I see you at a party in Kona.
Yeah.
And I know that you are like the island's best drummer. Like there's like a whole folklore going around Yesod Williams like being able to drum since he was in the womb, came out drumming and
But possibly the only drummer on the island
and also
as well.
the only drummer.
So,
yes, yeah.
hey.
So right. It was you and Will Peoples, and that's about it. And so I came up to your party. I was like, hey, me and Bret, we're playing some songs. You want to jam with something? And you're just like, absolutely not. And I'm just like, sounds good. All right.
Okay.
A couple of weeks later, I see you at a party, and you came up to me and you're like, you guys still jamming? Like, yeah. We jam at like Bret's garage. And it's like, yeah, maybe.
Was it really only 2 weeks?
It was like 2-3 weeks. That's
Really?
it. Like,
Really?
You guys got to understand when you're young, the time difference is so crazy.
Yeah.
Like weeks were like years. Like weeks now are like a second. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, it's just
absolutely.
so yeah.
And how's Yee holding out for a whole 2 weeks? Nice job.
Yeah.
Well, because it's funny because I remember, because Bret lived right down the street from me.
Uh-huh.
And I remember you guys jamming for so long with Rooked.
Yeah.
And shit like that at parties.
Yeah.
And I think the reason I think I was way before is because I think you asked me
Yeah.
to jam at one point, like
Yeah.
a long time before too.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And same thing. I just didn't want to play drum. Like I literally hadn't played drums in years. My mom kept my drum set up in my living room and threatened to sell them. Or else she
All
was
the
gonna,
time.
Yeah, or else if I didn't
yeah.
play them, I'm going to sell those fucking drums you saw. She'd cuss at me too all the
She
time.
was absolutely livid because he
Yeah.
had so much talent. So up the street, you'd hear him pounding away with all these different bands, heavy metal, this, that. His dad's bands are playing like anybody needs. So of course he did get burned out. But you have to understand. Every time I go up, they're like, oh, this is fucking sick drum set. Don't touch. Did you touch my drum set? No.
Yeah.
he was doing that way before Step Brothers.
Step Bros,
And now we're Step Brothers, which is fucked up too.
Yeah.
We'll put my nuts on your drum set. No, but it's a sick drum fit in there. It looked like, it looks like Lars Ulrich's ultimate set, I'm guessing, whatever.
Yeah, it
But
was double
eventually
bass.
he stopped playing it.
Okay.
And right at that time is when you and me started fucking jamming.
Yeah.
So as
On
soon
the
as he's
water
like,
tank.
I'm through with this shit.
Yeah.
So
And
Yeah.
so like a couple weeks later, or however long it was, but for me, it seemed pretty fast.
Yeah.
You're just like,
no,
hey.
I bet it was with those two,
Right.
Those two instances. I bet.
And so you like came up, you're like, hey, you guys still jam? I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I'll jam with you. I'll page you. I'm like, yeah, sounds good. Okay, cool.
Literally.
Yeah, seriously. So I go over to Bret. I'm like, hey,
Hey, Lama.
hey, Lama, Yesod actually wants to jam with us. And Bret's like, oh my God, Dong, this guy, if we get this guy in the band, we're going to have top 10 number one hits. We'll have videos on MTV, record contracts. You don't understand, Kaleo. Like, this is everything that we need to be. Rooked cannot be, but this, whatever's going to happen, needs to be.
Yeah.
And so this opens up the first time we get together as the three of us, pre-Pepper, pre-name. We just get together at Bret's garage, which was his room.
Yep.
Had a drum set and the amps and everything.
Yeah.
And pretty sweet setup, actually. And the car, sometimes the
At
car.
night you park it next
and
to the
you
bed.
roll in, you drive your bug right up, and you lay out your whole situation.
1972 Super Beetle.
There we go. And now we're here, and I'm gonna let Bret take over because after we started swinging and getting into some jams and showing you Ska 1, Ska 2. Oh, by the way, all of our songs were named Ska 1, Ska 2, Ska 3, Ska 4, Ska 5 at the time. They're easy to remember and catalog that way.
Another good reason of the difference, like Yesod mentioned, I didn't even know that. I didn't remember that you even remembered the band we thought we were doing starting.
Yeah.
To us, it was a real band. We couldn't get a drummer, and when we got one, just like a Mormon dude off the bed. I like to surf. We're like, sick. We'll go
Chris.
take you. You got a drum. Oh, this is gonna be sick.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, he's dead. I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah,
They just would just implode, or one would,
Yeah.
like
Spinal tap.
fully
Yeah.
like get arrested or leave, or he's like 25 years older than us, and like whatever. We like our butt. Come on, you're a good drummer, bro. You're a
tried
great,
so
you're a
hard.
great football player. You could do this. We've got like the freaking lineman of Konawaina, Al Kanashiro, freaking in there. I got this.
You know how to play baseball,
You don't
right?
play
You must
baseball,
know how
right?
to play
It's
drums.
exactly like the drums. Oh, just watch me. Me and Cloud just going around like the shitty white, the freaking brown stripes, just like doo-doo wipes.
Yeah.
Like one guy's, yeah.
Dude wipes.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it, me. Yeah, you. Okay, now Pantera's on. Horrible. So anyway, there's Yee. That's why he's the shining light. I'm talking him up.
You talk so much.
He didn't show up solo though. He shows up to that garage with none other than
Philly B.
Philly B.
Oh, that's right.
Guess who's back in the
Blunt was
motherfucking
there at
house?
conception.
Bro, he wasn't show up to this fight without backup. And Philly B is like he's already a very confident man. He's ready to roll up. But Philly B is just like, brah.
Yeah.
It's like if Hogan showed up with like Jimmy the Hart. Oh, you don't even know my boy here. Oh, Hulkamania's gonna run wild. And Klaus like, because of that, and I was like, told you, bro. Look at this fucking.
It's like
look at
who
his
is
cape.
This guy. This
Look at
guy
his
has his own
fucking cape.
agent that he brings to just jams.
It was
my
heavy,
gosh.
and he's like, "Yeah, sick, bro." Like, I was like, "This guy's legit. He's got a bodyguard, like whatever." So we roll in, and like you said, we got a couple numbers, and Cloud and I are like so excited.
Yeah,
I'm kind of nervous because I'm like, "This is real." Like I told you, this is gonna be real, and you're like, "This is gonna be sick." We got to show them all our songs. I was like, "Okay, what's the first song? Ska 1.
Ska 1. Yeah, we'll start at 1.
What's the next one? The next one's called Ska 2. He's kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
What's Ska 7?
But we show him it.
We show him the songs and a couple different things, but there's something missing. Something definitely missing from that. It was called Your Chops. You piece of shit. It's like
because you went into retirement for so long.
as soon as we needed you, you fucking bailed and you left all of your skills, everything.
But what I lacked in chops at the time, I made up with passion.
Oh my God.
Because I had a similar feeling when that feeling you guys had when, Yee's gonna jam with us. It's all our career's made.
There you go.
That was similar when I realized you guys had original tunes.
Yeah.
I was like, we're on.
Yeah, sick.
We made it. We're so back.
So you were looking forward to this. Okay, sick.
And I remember how excited I was after that first jam.
I remember this. You're like, wait, you guys wrote these? And we're like, yeah. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I didn't realize now. That's very validating. Thank you for that.
Yes, no problem.
And they were called Ska 1 and Ska 2.
Yeah. All right. 4, 5.
So it was this interesting juxtaposition, if you will, of me shitting the bed and you guys being like, wait, maybe you can't play drums anymore. And me being super pumped though, because I was like, oh my God, these guys, this is perfect.
Yeah, no.
This is exactly what I've been waiting for the last 2 weeks.
God, I love
That was the tell. That was the only thing. Because when we looked out, Cloud was like, okay, but you were so having the best day ever, and I was destroyed. I was like, I've been talking this guy up. I couldn't believe it.
When you guys left, he looked at me and he just said, Dong, I am so sorry. Like, I don't know what happened. And for me though, this is exactly where I was like, wait a minute. You had a higher expectation. I just had a drummer.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I'm
the
last
fine.
5
Like,
The last 5 drummers were.
Oh my gosh.
The passion was working for Cloud.
Yeah, I was like, look, I'm
big, beautiful smile,
Can
the
we
grill,
do this again?
perfect teeth.
Can we do this again? And so that was Ska 1. And then you're right about Blunt. Thank you for bringing that because Ska 2 actually turned into Blunt.
Yeah.
Right.
The track.
Well, okay, and then this is actually a good segue of heading to Giving It.
Yeah.
Because Ska 1 was Unsafe Bridge, right?
Yes.
Good. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's the
you
opening
eventually
track.
started helping us with names.
So I think that was that was probably maybe the first song we jammed that I was like, oh shit, you guys wrote this?
Yeah,
Sick.
yeah.
We got, and that's, you got to think that was 97. So like, you got things like Goldfinger on the radio and like No Doubt blowing up.
Loved that.
I remember one of the main reasons I was so hyped to jam and get something going was I was listening to the Sublime Stand By Your Van live CD so much in the bug. And I think something about hearing the live show and like that whole thing, I was like, oh, I really want to do this again.
Right, that's
I
what
really
got
want
you
to.
back,
I really want to like start playing parties and start and get a band going and whatnot.
Yeah.
So so it's like all that shit be going on in the time, and then Ska 1 turning into Unsafe Bridge, making for the opener of Giving It.
Right.
And then at that point too, we were doing some like 311 tunes. We were doing
half-ass Sublime tunes.
Yeah, a couple Sublime. Romeo.
311 you said already?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Offbeat Bare Ass.
We did the beer song from
Real Big Fish.
Real Big Fish.
At the time.
It was basically whatever our friends were saying. I love that song. Play the song. We're like, shit, we know that song. Go home, try to learn that song, which we were awful at.
Yeah.
We were a terrible cover band.
So then, how did we start crafting more of? So Unsafe Fridge.
Yeah.
And then, I have a vague memory of, Your Way too.
Sure.
When we wrote Your Way.
Sure.
And I remember I was all psyched on that one too because it was like an actual like proper reggae tune or whatever.
Like
you know
we
what
kind
I
of
mean?
had some more structure by then. That's the
Yeah.
other thing is when you showed up, more structure. Besides us being like, this is the next part. You're like, this is the next part with a live band, and this is a what do you call it? A transition into the next part. Instead of like we're going to the next part, he's like, no, I'm taking you to the next part. Get in my bug, fucking we'll jump right in, and that kind of thing about. Because that's the true part. It's like we never had that third. It was always you and me. Freaking Siskel and Ebert over here forever till we finally are like there and he's like, we're seeing chops because he played it in so many bands. And and all your interest and your enthusiasm was coming through. We're like, holy shit. I'm doing this ride cymbal thing because I was like, now I know what a ride cymbal is. You play it on this side.
Yeah.
And that's so true. And then also learning from those covers and stuff. Like this is what those guys do.
Yeah.
And then live. We started playing a lot of parties live. And I think we developed Ska 1.
Yeah.
Ska 2, Ska whatever. What's the next song on Giving It?
Feels Good.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
this is
So
a good
Unsafe
one.
Fridge, Feels Good, which that developed heavily at parties, right? Playing parties.
Well, no,
Actually,
this.
that evolved with our first manager,
Poncho Man.
Man.
Oh,
Original
Yeah.
Hawaiian homeboy.
Yeah, Hawaiian homeboy.
Poncho Man, who some little background on him is legendary Hawaiian musician.
Contemporary too,
Yeah,
not just
yeah.
Hawaiian stuff, boy.
Still playing 8 shows every Saturday in
yeah.
Kona. Like
Yeah.
it's insane. Like and he was a crucial part of this band. And
Staple.
so he's like, oh boys, you know what you need? You guys need to like sing along. Like make the crowd sing.
Because you guys just jam. You guys
Because when
just
you
jam.
get the crowd singing, you get them.
Yeah.
And so he's like, try this one. Try pick 2 chords. F C.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we're like, he's like, okay, we're all jamming. It's all jamming.
Bruh,
He's like,
DC,
okay.
even easier, bro.
Yeah,
Same
yeah,
string,
yeah,
boy.
yeah. He's like, hey, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, do him. Okay. You know what? Try something. Like we're like, oh, nah.
How you guys?
And he's like, oh boys, that's mean.
it's
It's a mean one. Keep going. Again? He's like, yeah. Oh, nah.
And remember, you're like,
And it was the call and response.
but we
That's-
were like this, but like the same chords. He's like, yep. First the D, then try to C. And Clow and I, the reason this is important is because Clow and I were crazy interested in exploring, especially like ripping out the pages of Guitar Player magazine, how to
yeah.
play,
Oh, yeah.
which
The tab.
only he knew how to tablature.
tab.
He had the
Boy.
secret seeing stone for learn these.
Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots,
All that stuff.
like, all that stuff, and then like, all their intricate like stuff.
So he knew that at an early age. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? By the time, so we learn all this stuff and I'm like, starting to finally like, whoa, I can really cool chords. To this day, I'm like, such cool chords. I couldn't tell you what their name, but all those ska tunes had such cool chords.
Yeah.
And then Poncho, who we respected so much and saw him playing these huge shows in Kona and crushing it.
Yeah.
Teaching us our first, come on, boys. I know you guys love Bob Marley. I know you guys love reggae, but come on, just try. Just calm down a little bit. And C and D. And Cloud and I are like,
you guys do punk rock. Just try it. Just try it.
what if C, D, and C? So
Yeah,
we
C,
did
D,
it.
right.
And with the Honan and kind of like our guidance or him guiding us. And like he played it, remember, like on a keyboard one time at like a party they were playing. And we were like, oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
We got to get a keyboard. Where do we get this keyboard? So that kind of helped a big development. So these ska songs are turning into a new one. What's the third track?
The third track is Regret Is. Going back to those punk rock roots.
that's an
boy.
original one, boy.
Yeah.
And what Hawaiian on top of that one?
Yeah, no. So, yeah. Regret is
I'll tell you why. It's because I think we all were listening to Punk and Drublick.
Bad Religion.
Like so hard.
Yeah.
And look, it was like, if we're not playing anything like this, we're nothing.
Yeah.
We got to do something.
Yeah.
That's the other big part of the influence. You're right. We
Right.
jumped out as like hugest Bad Religion fan. I got to learn all about that. I was really into like, you see him on the surf films or whatever. That was going along
exactly.
around there. There
All the
was
Taylor
some on
Steele-
MTV.
all the Taylor Steele
Momentum.
Exactly. How you got to do that. And but that I remember like for Cloud was always Bad Religion. I was like,
Yep.
At first I'm like, but this isn't like funny or goofy as like No Effects. That was kind of my punk band.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
But look at there. And eventually I was like, fuck, this is really good. And he's like, yeah, by the way, Bad Religion is No Effects' favorite band, dumbass. I was like, okay. So I start listening to Bad Religion, and then a couple of my homies, whatever, Damien Ricchini, was like, bro, why are you listening to Bad Religion so much? Why don't you listen to fucking Pennywise? Yeah. They're like exactly like Bad Religion. Something on these lame fucking guitar solos. Which stuck with me.
Show you how much punk is going on in here. It's just like punk this, punk that. It's like
a lot of action. These 16-year-old nutsacks. Everybody's got different energy.
But we only heard this music because of surf videos, and then also because of the Polynesian Pirate.
Well, and Howley chicks bringing over, tourist chicks bringing over. We'd always take their CDs, commandeer them, cassette tape,
Well,
borrow forever, chop.
Hawaiian borrow.
True.
Exactly.
Similar story about my 40 ounces of freedom tape that I had. That we all commandeered. It's like the shorts. Like the Volcom shorts.
Those shorts will live forever.
Yeah. Back in the early days, we didn't have as much clothes. This is even before. This is even before the Volcom Shekinch days, boys.
Which was Volcom could only afford to give you the clothes that were damaged. What do I mean? Well, here's a shirt with one sleeve. Do you want it? Do you want it? Yeah. Well, eventually, this one perfect pair, Yee traded for a bunch of weed to this guy, and they were the perfect pair of Volcom, just not board shorts, but like the ones you could get wet. Yeah.
But you got those in Kona.
Yeah.
Did you get them in Kona?
Yeah, Ben.
Yeah. No, you had those before. You paid good money for those.
Straight.
Yeah.
What does that cost you? $65 back in 1996?
No, it was from Ben because Ben. Okay, it's a good way to segue Ben. Because around this time of making, we'll leave off on Regret Is, by the way.
Yeah.
During this time of making the band and everything, at first it was Ben's girlfriend or his ex, obviously made us a logo.
Oh,
and
I remember this.
That was our first logo, I think, right?
Keep in mind why, though. You're so right. And this is a critical thing of why Ben is a part of it. Like why this art is in this room.
Yeah.
Why Pepper CDs look like that. Do they still make CDs? I don't know. Anyway, his girlfriend at the time was an artist, too. Really good artist. Can't remember her name right now. Yeah. But Ben was a real artist, a real surfer. Yeah. Big Ben Bruff. Big Air.
He was a big
future.
Yes. He was a pro surfer sponsored by Volcom.
Exactly, which is how you got those shorts. Yeah. But we were starting to get a good following. The thing that was unique about Pepper is we kind of had all the different cliques of people. The local people, the sports people, the surfing people, the nerds, the stoners, everything. We were kind of like that band because we're a little bit of all that. Yeah. And we started getting all these people coming to our shows and support. We had a really cool following. And to that artist, his girlfriend, I'm going to make you guys a sick piece of art. We didn't ask her to do that. It was just a nice thing to do, supporting this local band. And she made a sick one. Remember it? It looked like underwater.
I have one.
You have one? Okay, sick. Sick.
Yeah.
And it was real sick.
We made a couple shirts and some stickers, I think.
Exactly.
Or something.
But Pepper's not only positivity from that beautiful thing. Within having that sticker for a couple months, guess what? They broke up.
Yeah.
And the other artist in that relationship was none other than Ben Bruff.
Yeah.
A punk rock artist.
Yes.
And he said, fuck that sticker, fuck that bitch, fuck everything about that.
Nothing like a broken heart.
No, my God. Little bit of rage involved. So that Pepper logo, called the scratch logo that we saw, was done with watercolor with a straw and fucking crazy. Yeah. We're like, what? And we saw it. Remember in his like tablet or however he originally did it? That came out of angst. Yeah. I'm going to give you a real logo.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's been our logo and our artist.
These are my boys.
Exactly.
Which is why it kind of looks a little bit like a metal logo, I think.
It looks, and we only printed them in I almost said in blood and then something else, because in red and in white. Yeah. And those are the colors. They look very natural.
Yeah, and then that's when so that happened, and then getting back to the album.
Yeah.
Because I think we didn't choose the cover until later, right?
No.
Because that was when we already got to the main line.
Exactly.
But I think the art was already done.
The art was already done.
Which is a sick story in a minute to tell.
Right. Okay. So after Regret Is Prank Caller.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This is a good one. Come on. We've got to dive into the song now.
Which this one was nice because this one was like, it kind of married the two, the ska and the reggae thing.
It was like it was our first hybrid.
Yes.
Ska. Yeah. It had like that feel to it.
We committed.
Yeah.
Was this a ska number? Was this
No.
I don't think so.
This was Poncho's influence had sheeped in a little bit more.
After Feels Good, after showing him ska 1, ska 5 all the way through. I was like, oh, come on, Bush.
Yeah.
Make him sing.
Come on, guys.
I think this was the result of his knowledge finally like hitting us,
Getting in
that set. Yeah,
Yeah, because before we'd already had those songs that you'd heard, but then it started like melting into this. And Prank Caller, is there actually like phone calls going off in there?
Yeah. Well, it's like remember we had Mike at the time.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the band, right?
You
We had,
mean the
Vanilla
secret
Gorilla.
member
Yeah.
of Pepper?
Yes.
The original fourth member of Pepper back from the late 90s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mike Reynolds.
Yeah.
Mike Reynolds.
And so Mike had like all these keyboard sounds or these like DJ things that he used to do,
Yeah.
like Michelangelo stuff. Remember that? Like back in the day, playing
Fruity
that show.
Loops, bruh.
Thank you.
But how did he get in the scenario to be with the band? Anyways, do you remember what was so hot at that time? This is what I thought about last night, thinking about this.
Oh, yeah,
I got
let
a
me think,
podcast. I've never done a
what
podcast.
DJ?
That time of the 90s, guys, we were hearing that music. People were leaving the music. We were stealing that music. We were hearing that music.
So you had Ross MG. You had like
you had that
Sugar Ray.
But go back even farther. Remember, we would sneak over at young ages to the other islands to go watch the Big Melee, which essentially was a Hawaiian Warp Tour. When one day,
Right.
who did we see there? Tool.
Well, you saw Tool.
Yeah.
We saw 311.
No doubt. 311.
Incubus.
Right.
Incubus had a fucking awa.
Incubus.
And
Incubus.
they
Come
were
on.
like the opener, and they were like, we saw them like, oh, they're like, they didn't have any crew. They're freaking pulling their dreadlocks back. There's
like
80 of them. They got
96 or
didgeridoos.
something.
I was like, in my mind, I was like, these guys rip pretty hard, but they don't have any catchy tunes. That was before the Incubus that you know.
Yeah.
So we went up and we're talking. You remember we were talking?
They
I'm
were
like,
mellow, but
so,
you're right. They all had like super long
I
hair,
figured I asked
dreaded
them,
out.
so how'd you guys book this gig, huh? Like just crazy. And they're like, I don't know, a booking agent. We're like,
all right.
sick.
You mean Philly Blunt?
What is that? Yeah. No, so they had DJs and other instruments. I mean, do you remember like Sugar Ray was out and they had the guy doing the
exactly.
It was the hottest thing ever. I don't know if Korn had one. MTV
You
was going
just
wild.
needed a DJ if you're going to be anything.
And that got into our head.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, Mike, you like to DJ? And he's like, yeah, but not with you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
But that did bring the keyboard sound.
Yeah.
Then after that, Poncho was like, oh, boys,
boys.
let me manage you.
Yeah.
Now you got a keyboard.
Yeah,
now
exactly.
now you can be something.
you got the tools now,
Right.
boys.
And
And
so,
you could play music in between when we go play bars, which some of us were too young to even be there. So
Yeah.
me and I would get kicked out, obviously,
Yep.
unless it was a cool.
Well, we were all underage, but we're still playing.
Oh yeah,
bars
you were
at that
underage
time.
then
Yeah,
too. Exactly.
All of us were.
So we're sneaking in, sneaking out, but Mike would play the DJ stuff.
Yep.
So it was like a double purpose thing.
Bow,
Yeah.
bow, bow.
And quintessential for this album because there's a lot of keyboard in it, which we never
exactly.
had.
Yeah. Which will come in heavy on the last track, but we'll get there.
This is your station on the north.